welcome to a live stream here on the Aviation Pro channel. It's been a while. I hope you're all doing well. It's been 3 years actually since I did my last live stream. There are a lot of reasons for that. I hope you can all hear me okay. I hope it's all still working. As you can see, I'm back in the old studio for temporarily, and yeah, I thought it was a good moment to finally kind of catch up with all of you, because it's been a long time. There are multiple reasons for that, but I'll try to explain that. A lot of has to do with, of course, my real-world flight training, which I'm happy to report that is now finished. So I can, yeah, finally say that I'm done with flight training. It took a little while longer due to things like COVID, of course, but yeah, I'm now finally done. I had the last exam in a month ago in the 777 simulator. So yeah, that's that. I already see some people in the chat. That's really nice. Let's see who I can welcome. The Saint was the first one today. Terrain Ahead, nice name. They call me Hacked. Good evening. Leonie, hi, welcome. Pilot Lus, good evening. Boeing 370, Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year, by the way. That's, I think, the title of the stream. So I hope that is all working and you can all hear me okay. Good to hear. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Happy New Year. I wish you all the best for 2023. I hope it's going to be an interesting year aviation-wise, with especially also with Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course, for the flight simulation community is really nice. Let's see. So yeah, Captain Arianus, Happy New Year to you too. Very nice to see you. I do see some familiar names. Mohammed, welcome. Thank you very much for the congratulations too. And James and Niels, very welcome and very good evening to you all. Yeah, so I'll just use this stream to kind of catch up with you guys. Feel free to ask questions. I'm trying to kind of do a little AMA session, basically. I'm still alive indeed. I know I haven't been active on the channel a lot in recent years. The main kind of reason, of course, was the flight training. I just wanted to focus on that a lot, which started at the end of 2019. And also what kind of played a role kind of at the end of 2019. I got kind of a creative burnout, basically, with YouTube. I think every YouTuber kind of goes through this phase. I remember in 2019, I really pressured myself to really make a lot of videos, like 2 videos per week if I could, but at the end, yeah, that was not a good idea. There was a lot of energy went into that, a little bit too much energy, so I really decided to take a break from YouTube, and this break has kind of been lasting for the last 3 years. Of course, there have been some videos here and there, and luckily also VATSIM Full Flight later on, but yeah, it's something you go through as a YouTuber, where you simply do not have the creative energy to really make videos. And yeah, I wanted to just focus on other things. Also, of course, with COVID happening, COVID is also a reason, because, like, yeah, you don't want to spend too much time behind a computer screen if you're already spending a lot of time behind a computer screen. So yeah, it was nice to really focus on other things in life, a bit more on real life commitments as well, and the flight training. Of course, I wanted to share a bit more about the flight training. I have recorded videos and stuff, but it's not really videos to really kind of turn into an actual video. It's more like of stock footage that I can kind of use in future videos, because I am planning on kind of bringing the channel back to live again. I'm not sure really how. I'm going to think about that in the upcoming days and weeks. I would love to let the channel, be a bit more active again. So yeah, that's basically a little update from my side. In the meantime, I hope you're all doing well. I can see quite some people already in the stream here. Let's see if I can take an actual look. Oh yeah, there are quite a few people here. Nice. Yeah, it was a surprise stream. There might be more surprise streams like this in the future. Basically, I don't want to plan ahead too much with videos or force myself to make a video. So yeah, that's basically what you can kind of expect from now on. But I am planning on making some videos in the near future, and especially with the new flight simulator and blending that with real world knowledge, I think you will like very much. I'm really happy to have, and thankful to have learned a lot of stuff in the past 3 years, from general aviation flying all the way to flying the 777 and the 737 full flight simulator. So plenty of knowledge for me to share with you guys. Let's see how the chat is doing in the meantime. Thank you for the congratulations, everyone, and that you liked the videos. Indeed, thank you, Boeing A370. It was good to focus on the real life, but I'm glad to do a live stream finally again. It's really nice to be live, actually. And so far, it seems to be working well. Pilot Lasse passed the theory for driver license. Oh, nice. Yeah. Basically, the theory exams that you make in flight school, at least here in the Netherlands, is in the same room where people also make the theory exams for their scooter or driver's license. So that's really fun. You're there with your big Jeppesen charts and other books, and all those people think, what kind of exam is that guy doing? It's really quite fun. Welcome, Daniel. And indeed, yes, Captain Ariane's 2019, a beautiful year to start the aviation career. Well, it is tricky. It was really weird. The first 9 months of flight training were really about theory and ATPL theory, just full time. And we started in December, and then around March we had our first set of exams on the flight school for theory. And then when the second block of theory was starting, that's when the COVID shit happened, and when everyone went into lockdown, and basically the next day all theory lessons were online. And it really sucks, of course, because also the practical flying stopped at that time, so that gave a lot of delay. I've basically been after finishing all the theory for 9 months, luckily that went through and the exams went through, but after finishing theory, I was not able to fly. I was on hold for the flight training. So basically I've been kind of working in the test street for half a year, which was also nice. It's a nice life experience, a nice alternative to spend the time. But it all in all made the flight training take a year longer than expected. But at the same time, now we're done. So now I'm done. So that's quite hopeful. Now I have to wait for a job, basically, wait for a phone call. And with a bit of luck, that's not going to take too much time. So that's that. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's take a look. Hello, Enema and Pelle, welcome in. Yes, I'm still live. I know some people might be thinking, if I was not around anymore, but luckily I am. So that's a bit of an update from my side. Not even sure what else I put in the title. Basically, I think time to catch up and ask me anything, something like that. And feel free to ask any questions maybe you have about the flight training or stuff like that. Again, I hope this year will be a little bit of a new start for the channel. Probably lots gonna change. I'm now in this house, but probably later, somewhere in the upcoming months, I will move somewhere else, as you may understand, and then we'll do the videos from there. And hopefully by the time I'll also be able to kind of set up a studio again, because it was really nice in, kind of around 2016, 2017. Of course, I was in Rotterdam, as some of you may know, studying. I kind of had my own room, which I could kind of turn into my own studio, and also flight sim setup. So it was really nice to make videos from there. But the last 3 years that was also a bit difficult. So here we are back in the old studio temporarily. But yeah, at that time also much more time, of course, to make videos and play Flight Simulator. I don't like to say that, play Flight Simulator. We fly flights on Flight Simulator. So yeah, let's take a look. In the meantime, some more people is in. Casper, hello. Jonathan, yes, thank you very much. Welcome. D1 Production, also welcome. Let's take a look. A lot of things, a lot of questions. Let's take a look. I'm gonna be able to actually highlight some comments here and there. I've kind of set up a system to be able to do that. So yeah, let's take a look if that works. Let's see who I can highlight. First of all, by terrain ahead, I see a question. Does that work? Yeah, it works. Nice. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free. I'm going to stream for about an hour, I think. I'm not going to be alive very long. I was also thinking of maybe doing a live flight, but I simply have not flying Microsoft Flight Simulator for quite a while. Kind of have to get back into it to set it all up. And kind of make sure that it's all working, because I would love to actually get, maybe do some live streams here and there again with actual flights. I'm not planning to make a Discord. I do already have a Discord, but it's not active. It was kind of used for the support community around the AviationPro channel in the last few years, especially for Patreons. Yeah, hopefully I can get some campaign like that running again. It will probably be maybe on YouTube itself, but maybe with that I'll also bring my Discord server alive as well again, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I would love to interact using Discord. I think it's a really nice program actually, and also easy to use to interact with the community. And yeah, if I have any information about that, then of course I will send a link. Let's see what else. Yeah, this question. It is an ATPL license. So yeah, frozen ATPL basically. So it's not MPL. There's a bit more general aviation flying involved. There's always a lot of discussion about which one is better and stuff, but I will not go into that here. But yeah, it's an ATPL license that I got. The commentator, welcome. Let's see, what else do we got? Kind of have to get used to this system. Probably won't be able to see every single comment, but I can clear the comment right now, so that's nice. Yes, I was. Nice, very nice. 1/200 model. Well, actually, I've got a new model here. This was kindly gifted to me by First Officer Twan. Some of you might still remember First Officer Twan. This is also a very old Herpa model, or yeah, very old airplane at least. As you can see, it's a Vickers Viscount, and it's also the 1/200 scale. So yeah, quite nice. It even has rotating propellers, as you can see, so, and little antennas. So, and it's quite heavy. I'm not sure if the weight is actually also part of that, but yeah. Thanks to First Officer Twan for gifting that model. It's really nice. Airplane models, I think, add a lot of stuff to your room. Let's see. Terranus Ahead says, I watched the Frankfurt to Budapest video recently. I think I watched that too actually today. That was an old video. That was really nice. It was one of the first videos with First Officer Twan, kind of creating a multi-crew experience on VATSIM Full Flights, which was really fun to do. Of course, not that accurate to the first or the multi-crew stuff that we use in real life, but it kind of, got the idea right, and yeah, it was nice to make flights that way. Jonathan, yes, I was, or yeah, I was. I can now say I was. Finished in December last year, so just in time for Christmas, luckily, so that was nice. Let's see. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Glad to be back. Hello, Gear Up Aviation. Hello, Tangpia. And Pilot Lasse says, I rewatched a few FS9 streams. Yeah, FS9 was the first sim that I used for VATSIM Full Flights. I think the first VATSIM Full Flight was, Full Flight video at least, was from Amsterdam to London Heathrow. It was 2 parts, one departure video, one arrival video, and then some other videos with FS 2004. Still a great sim, I think. But I think Microsoft Flight Simulator right now is also a great sim. I think it's kind of my main sim that I use right now. I still have Prepared installed, but it's mainly for the Boeing 777 PMDG, which is of course handy for the flight training. But if I want to make a flight, I basically just use Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it looks amazing. Of course, there's still some drawbacks to it, but it's an amazing simulator. Just the way the atmosphere is modeled and the airport environment, it's just, yeah, it cannot beat any other simulator at the moment. And that's just, I can't make it any better than that. Let's take a look. Some more people are coming in. Welcome to, and thanks for joining the stream, by the way. Happy New Year to everyone who's just joined the stream. Tim, yeah, so I kind of answered this question already. I fully switched to MSFS. I still have Prepared installed for the triple, so I can kind of look around in the 777 simulator, but that's about it. Endplane asks, how old were you when you got into flying? Nice question. I think I was, well, I know I remember that I got FS 2004 for my 11th birthday, so that really kick-started it. But in the years before, I think I would say, I think when I was 8 or 9 years old, I was really kind of getting into airplanes. Yeah, I remember flying on the 747 in 2006, so that really amazed me. I kind of course, flying the 747 at that time, I didn't realize what a majestic aircraft it was, but yeah, that might have been one of the triggers, but the true trigger that really got me into this hobby and also flying itself, signing or even thinking about signing up for flight training was when I was 11, when I got FS 2004. I made a video a few years ago, I think 2018, where I revisited FS 2004. I might make such video again sometime, because it remains a really cool sim to check out. Let's have a sip of water. I'm not used to talking that much, as you may imagine. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you for the nice comments. Happy New Year to you too. And I'm glad the videos have helped. Yeah, the aviation, I just looked it up. The channel has been around now for 13 years. That's quite a long time. Yeah, it's quite amazing. I'm glad to see that it's still people are enjoying the videos, even though I haven't uploaded that much. I'm glad you enjoy the videos, even old ones. The commentator, if I'm working as an airline first officer now, no. Basically, what we are at the flight school I went to, what we were trained for is as a cruise relief pilot on the 777. So that's kind of the goal, to become a cruise relief pilot. Basically, that means you can take over the one pilot who is taking a break above flight level 200, and you do not actually really make takeoffs and landings, but you only act as a cruise relief pilot, which is of course for the long flights, and you do that for 2 to 3 years, and then the basic way is to then kind of go to a first officer position on European flights. So that is the basic plan, but at this point I'm really not sure if this is really going to happen. It might as well be that you become a first officer on European flights, or maybe even on an Airbus aircraft is still an option. So at this point I cannot really say yet what that's going to be. But in principle it should be a second officer for the time being. But yeah, I just need to await the phone call for that. But it's probably going to take about half a year. Yeah, it's a well-known Dutch airline. I see some people ask in the comments. Let's see. And then Hasso asks, what airline are you flying in real life now? So at the moment I don't, but I'm trained for the 777 as cruise relief pilot. And we also had a multi-crew course on the full flight simulator on the 737 actually. And I'm really thankful and happy to have been able to do that, because the 737 in my airline is not really an aircraft that's going to stay around for long. I probably won't be able to fly on it in my career as it looks like right now. But having flown the 737 is just amazing, especially because it's an aircraft that I use a lot, of course, in flight simming. And it's really a hands-on aircraft. When you fly that thing in the full flight sim for the first time, it's quite a crazy aircraft. It's so old, and it does things where you think, what on earth is it doing? You know, it's it's not very easy, but it's really fun. I think it's a really good aircraft to really get to know the basics of airline flying, kind of the stick and rudder skills that you need for airliner flying, and the transition to the triple. So that was just a multi-crew course, and then the type rating 777. That transition is in a way a bit easier, because the triple is just a very easy airplane to fly because of the fly-by-wire and the modern systems. But flying the 737 was really fun, and a full flight simulator. So no real-world airline flying yet. I hope in a month or 6 or something like that. Until then, it's only full flight simulator experience. But of course, the full flight simulators are damn realistic. It's really quite impressive. I had never flown in one before, just a static one, but a moving flight sim like that, yeah, I was amazed. It feels so realistic. It's quite incredible, and I can recommend everyone, if you are able to do it. Maybe you have a full flight sim nearby, and this is really your hobby. Then try it, because it's great fun. It gives you a very good sense of what flying is like. So definitely I would go for that. A random question by GEJ. Have you ever tried scuba diving? No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't. I'm not that much of a water rat, how they call it. So yeah. At the moment, I've not tried that yet. Maybe in the future. Let's see. What else do we got? Yeah, Jonathan, I think a lot of people used the videos. Yeah, it's really nice. Thank you for the nice comment. Basically, what do I want to say? I kind of forgot. yeah, I hope to make more videos in the future, of course, using some of the real world knowledge to kind of share in tutorial format. One of the videos that I'm planning to do is a VFR cross-country tutorial. It's been on the list for years. Some of you may remember that I did a VFR tutorial series for VATSIM, but it never actually got finished. It still lacks a cross-country tutorial. So I'm thinking of maybe doing a cross-country tutorial and the whole series again, or yeah, just a cross-country tutorial. Depends a little bit on the time available, but especially now with Microsoft Flight Simulator, having that around, it makes VFR flying really realistic. It's amazing what you can do in the sim, and yeah, so in combination with VATSIM, that's just a wonderful experience. So I might do that soon, and probably another VATSIM Full Flight of some sort. And yeah, I must say, you know, flying on VATSIM has really helped, especially for the flight training. I mean, it has really helped also with you know, phraseology, kind of getting to know procedures. Of course, you don't know all the procedures by far. You're gonna learn a lot when you go into flight training. If anyone in the stream is considering that, you're gonna learn a lot more than just from what you know from flying on VATSIM. But it's a really good start. It's really helped me. It kind of makes it easier to get into. Of course, in the end, everyone, whether you have any flying experience or glider flying, or if you've done a lot of VATSIM, it really doesn't matter. Everyone ends up on the same level. But in a way, having flown on VATSIM, especially, you know, IFR procedures in combination with the IFR phraseology, is very nice to have been able to do that beforehand. It made the IFR phase a lot easier. So yeah, definitely very helpful to have flown on VATSIM, and it was always fun to make videos about that. That's true. Just not the landing, but they will probably yeah, depends a little bit on who you have next to you. D1 production, nostalgic to watch the content. No, thank you very much. Thank you for the nice wishes. I agree. Tangpia, so no, I'm not typed on the 737, no, but the multi-crew course was on that airplane, which was 8 sessions in the flight simulator. And yeah, again, really nice. The 737 is an old beast. It's quite interesting to see. You kind of get why pilots in real life, some prefer the Airbus, because yeah, the Airbus and then already the 777 is a lot easier to fly. So yeah, let's see. So Pella, good question. No. Again, as I said, you only kind of take over flight controls and yeah, a position in one of the seats above flight level 200. So unfortunately, no landings and stuff. But you will do that in the full flight simulator, of course, when you have to, you know, take your exams every once in a while. Let's take a look. Daniel B. With VFR, it's very country specific. Flying VFR on VATSIM in UK, where I'm from, is very different to places like the USA or Europe. That is very true. In the meantime, we got a nice tip from Lucas. Thank you very much for the nice tip. Thank you for adding to the tip jar. Yeah, it's right here. I'm glad to see that the alerts work. That's nice. Your VATSIM tutorial series, How to Fly, helped me a lot. Thanks to you. Wow, I'm glad it helps. And thank you very much for your generous donation to the channel. That is greatly appreciated. Continuing with Daniel's comment, that's very true. It's been one of the reasons why I've kind of refrained from making any VFR videos about VATSIM. Because their IFR is very standardized. You know, wherever you fly IFR, the procedures are relatively similar. The phraseology is very similar. Only when you get to countries like China or Russia, there might be some small differences, but in general, it's really nice to see, being able to have a standardized set of procedures, and that's also easier to explain in a tutorial video. But VFR is indeed much more fragmented, even within a country, within specific airports. There's specific rules and procedures. So if you're flying VFR, you really gotta, read up on the airport information, go through the aeronautical information publications, make sure you got all the latest information, and check out the differences, which makes making a tutorial also quite difficult. It's not easy to make a standardized tutorial for the whole world about VFR flying. So I'm planning to make a tutorial. It's going to be the Dutch kind of European perspective, and then hopefully people will be able to use that to adapt to local variations, which I think is doable. I mean, yes, there are differences, but also the very basics are the same. But especially indeed between continents in the US or Europe, there are quite some differences. But if you have a basic set of knowledge about VFR flying, it should not be that hard to adjust once you get that set of knowledge. So we'll definitely give it a try. Jonathan, good question again. Let's see. What do you think of Microsoft Flight Simulator at the point where it is now compared to 2 years ago? Good question. 2 years ago I made some videos about Microsoft Flight Simulator. I actually looked back at some of them today to how it looked, and I think it has improved a lot for sure, especially with the release of PMDG airliners like that, of course. That was really nice to see. I think, like I said, it's my main simulator, and I think, of course, there are some drawbacks like not having a weather radar. Aerodynamics always kind of remain a little bit of an issue in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it also has improved a lot if you compare it to the beginning. And I think it's developed in the right way. It takes time. It takes quite a long time. If you just look how this developed in the last 2 years, a lot has happened, but it takes a long time. For example, we still don't have a weather radar. I still find that some airplanes and even the PMDG 737 in certain flight phases kind of feels a bit wobbly, especially when landing on short final and on the runway. It doesn't seem very stable. It's hard to describe. I can now kind of compare that to what I've experienced in the full flight simulator. In general, it really flies actually very well in the air, but somehow on the runway it doesn't behave as you kind of would expect. So, but in general, a really nice sim. Also the fact that it has grown so much. There's so many people now using it. There's a whole new community, a lot of influx from new pilots, new developers, a lot of free content as well, which is really nice to see. The people that are contributing to the community by providing a rendering of airports, GSX profiles, things like that. It is really quite a big thing, and I think it has left its mark, and I am looking forward to the future of Microsoft Flight Simulator, seeing what it has to offer. So definitely very huge improvement over the last 2 years. But again, it takes time. I'm not sure when we will see this weather radar for the PMDG 737. That's something I really kind of miss. I really enjoyed using that. It just adds this extra layer of realism somehow. So that one F-Geek, will you play more prepared? Yes, probably not. I'm gonna be honest. I've used prepared a lot in recent years, of course. It was my main sim after FS 2004, but in its current state, it's kind of unflyable for me. Also the graphics, it's really, the frame rates are not stable. the graphics, there's a lot of pressure on the CPU. Your graphic cards barely gets used. It just doesn't look as nice. Prepared, I think, is still quite good for training purposes, because you can quite easily set up scenarios and adjust weather. With Active Sky, you can really create any weather scenario like you can do in a full flight simulator. With Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's a little bit harder. I know there's some programs right now where you can position the aircraft on a final approach and things like that. But really adjusting all the variables, it's a little bit easier in Prepared. So maybe for a training environment, purely for training, Prepared is still quite good. But yeah, I'm just not using it. I just, fly the triple on a short flight, Amsterdam to Frankfurt, every once in a while to kind of keep myself updated with procedures and stuff like that. Let's take a look. Terrain ahead. Good question. Should you join an event while flying VFR? Well, you can. I mean, it depends a bit on the country, of course, and the VACs, which train the air traffic controllers whether they are able to accommodate VFR traffic. I think in general the VATSIM standards are quite good. So especially in the Netherlands, I know the Dutch VAC controllers are very good. They are able to handle traffic like VFR and also helicopters and stuff like that. So it should be possible, yeah. They might not be that happy with you when there's a lot of IFR arrivals and stuff like that, but in general it should be okay. Like in real life, you can also just not fly into the airspace of the active controller. Just fly outside of the TMA or the CTR, and then it should not be a problem. And if you want to cross the CTR, you just ask, and if they don't have time for you, then you don't do it. So yeah, I would not discourage it. Actually, it's part of real flying, of course. I mean, there's a very big mix of traffic in the real world. There's, especially at big airports, some don't allow VFR traffic, but other big airports do allow VFR traffic, like Schiphol, also in real life. I think I've done that, twice. One during a daylight VFR flight, across the CTR of Schiphol from the east to the west. And basically you just fly near the CTR, you ask if you can cross. Actually you have to hand in a form these days to request your CTR crossing beforehand. And then you get an answer or not. But even in the air you can always try and ask if you can cross that CTR. And then also one time at night with a VFR night flight, which was amazing. Kind of flew a little orbit over Amsterdam. So yeah, if you can do it in real life, I suppose you can also do it on VATSIM, definitely. Let's see. Well, there are quite some people. Again, welcome to everyone who is watching. I see there are 46 people in the stream right now. That's really nice. I'm glad to have you all in. Thanks for joining the stream. And yeah, again, if you have any questions, there's a bit of an AMA in the beginning of the video. You can watch it back if you want. Kind of explained why the channel has been silent for so long. Let me know, by the way, if you would like to see more streams like this. Again, flight streams are a bit difficult for me at the moment. I would love to do them, but it takes quite some time and effort to set it up and to be able to actually do it. And I'm simply not flying the Microsoft Flight Simulator that much, but streams like these are quite easy to set up, and we can just talk aviation, and I've done them a lot in the past. So if you like these streams, please let me know. Let's see, any other questions? Let's have a sip of water. I don't have coffee, unfortunately, this time. Normally during the streams I would have coffee, but I was too lazy to make it. Let's see, what other questions do we have? I'm sorry if I cannot get to every question. I'll try and do my best, but let's see. Welcome Charger 383, welcome in. And welcome Red. Yeah, very good comments indeed. favoring VFR even over an IFR. That's very nice. It is. I mean, since the release of MSFS, definitely a VFR flying I think has been given a boost, and now with the Navigraph charts is really nice as well. They're still a bit basic in Europe. I've not really checked the US charts in other regions, but it does the job. I mean, you can actually see quite some detail in those charts, and of course, when you fly, you have the little magenta pointer, so you can actually see where you're flying in real life. You also have that if you're lucky, if you're allowed to use an app. If you just have a paper chart in front of you, which was the situation in my case, you really have to look outside for landmarks and determine your position that way, based on highways, waterways, cities, and structures and objects. Which it's fun, but it's kind of outdated. But yeah, it's now much easier to also use that in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Actually, it is quite fun, because in Microsoft Flight Simulator you can actually see objects. You can actually see all over the world satellite imagery, of course. So it makes it a lot more fun to fly VFR. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, but Charger, yeah, Happy New Year to you too. That one, FGK, have you tried X-Plane 12? No, I haven't. I probably won't either. I've only watched a few videos. Personally, I just don't really like the looks of X-Plane. That's more of a looks thing. I know that X-Plane is more advanced with flight dynamics. But then again, I'm kind of the opinion that unless you have a very expensive hardware as well, it's very difficult to really replicate flight dynamics very accurately and get a good feel of that. You know, you may have a very good software-wise flight dynamics in your sim, but then if you use a relatively cheap SciTech yoke to fly, it's just not the same. It's really hard to grasp. But I did try X-Plane 11 and 10 in the past, and I was quite impressed with the flight dynamics. Definitely true. But yeah, I just don't have time for another sim, unfortunately. That's just not gonna work at the moment. Also, Basso, does the airline take your aircraft wishes into consideration? No, unfortunately not. You just fly what you get. You take everything you get, basically. So the way it works, after your flight training is finished, at least in my flight school, at some point you get a call, and if there's a job for you on a specific airplane, you'll just take it. Of course, you can have personal preferences, but even me as a Boeing man, even if I get an offer for the Airbus, I'll take it, definitely. Maybe at other airlines it actually does work that way, I'm not really sure, but in general I think you don't really have much of a say in that. Except when you're actually hired, of course, you can do bidding for certain positions and on certain aircraft. So once you're actually in the airline and you've built up your experience, you can, of course, if there are positions open, you can bid for those positions, and then you can have a bit of a more say in what aircraft you would like to fly. So thanks for all the questions again, guys. So very nice to see. I do see some old names passing by again that I've seen in old live streams. It's really nice to catch up and see you again after 3 years. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's a good point. It's it's quite difficult to fly with a big VFR map. I might have one laying around actually, but it's quite, it's not a very modern way of flying. I think flying with an iPad with an app like Sky Demon or ForFlight makes VFR flying a lot more realistic and a lot safer. Let's see, where are we? Let's see. Jumpman Sam was flying to Frankfurt VFR. let me fly Vector, so that's interesting, and then divert to Dartmouth. I guess this was in VATSIM, not in real life. But that's quite something. That's interesting. Yeah, well, Frankfurt is probably one of those airports that you do not really want to cross with your, or plan your arrival into with a VFR aircraft. You're probably not going to get much priority. But you could always just fly to an uncontrolled airport if it's open, right? Then you can just land your plane. Aviator, welcome in. I'm good. I hope you're doing good as well. No uniform yet. No. I do have the uniform from the flight school, of course, but that's not what you're going to use later. So, unfortunately, I don't. Welcome in, Chris. Selton, welcome in. Glad to see you in the chat. Let's see, what else do we got? Hasso, where do you see the channel going in the future? Good question. Philosophical question. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I have not really made any plans or specific things for that. Like I kind of explained in the beginning of the video, in 2019 I kind of turned YouTube into my job. But I don't really want that anymore. I don't want YouTube to become sort of a second job or first job for that matter. I want to kind of make it a hobby. The way I see the channel going forward is still making tutorials, although they will not be as common. Of course, I hope to kind of implement real-world knowledge in those tutorials as much as possible, and in that way kind of make the tutorials more interesting, and as the simulators get more realistic, that makes it even better. So yeah, tutorials, probably the occasional VATSIM flight. I do want to also make some VFR flights apart from the full or the cross-country tutorial that I'm planning. I would love to make some actual VFR flights on VATSIM and turn those into videos. I'll maybe set up a member community. I've been thinking about it too, because the fact of the matter is it takes a lot of time to make videos, and sometimes, you know, in a VATSIM Full Flight takes hours and hours to make, to record the video, to prepare the video, to edit the video, to add subtitles. It's really fun, but you also got to be a bit realistic that it just takes a lot of time. So maybe some member community here on YouTube. I've been thinking about setting something up like that, and then do some live full flights on there as well. So yeah, we'll see. I probably won't be able to share real world footage. That's something that really depends on the airline where you're flying, but most airlines don't really like that. So unfortunately not anything like that, but making use of Microsoft Flight Simulator and making use of knowledge from the real world, and yeah, we'll see how I can combine those. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. In the meantime, some fireworks going off in the background. There's still some fireworks here and there. I hope you had a good new year. In the Netherlands, it's always quite crazy with fireworks. A lot of fireworks being fired in all kinds of regions. Yeah. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much. Carl Rogers, thank you very much as well. Yes, that's correct. I cannot pronounce your name, obviously, but good question. I'm not that good in Cyrillic at the moment. How much does flight training cost, and how do you go about financing it? Yeah, good question. Very good question. It depends a lot on the flight school and how you approach the flight training. If you go and sign up for an integrated ATPL flight training, often schools provide some sort of financial scheme which allows you to finance the flight training, which should theoretically also make it accessible to anyone who wants to do flight training. So it doesn't depend on how much more money your parents have. If you go modular or some smaller flight schools, they might not be able to provide such finances. You have to somehow finance it yourself. In my case, I have a financial scheme through the flight school, so that actually gives a lot of no assurance, basically, and kind of a security for yourself that you do not have to fund it yourself. Eventually, you do fund it yourselves once you get a job. You have to, of course, pay off the loan that you have. The training costs also depends a bit on the flight school. In Europe and in the Netherlands, you should think about 100,000, 120,000, kind of that range. The goal is, of course, that you pay that back as you get your salary as a pilot. But you should also consider if you're joining a flight school which has that scheme is really nice, then you can kind of put that behind you. Just focus on the flight training. Don't worry about it until you get a job. So that was really nice to have at this flight school. But then again, there are a lot of other costs that are involved, and you should be aware of that. So costs like traveling. I mean, I live in the south of the Netherlands basically, and the flight training was all the way up north. So if you want to visit your home in weekends, which I really wanted to do personally, driving back and forth, even though you carpool, just is a lot of money. So yeah, it's very good to kind of set aside money for that too. You have to buy some equipment. Of course, you do gonna get some stuff from flight school, but some things like a flight bag or pen and papers. Maybe you want to buy a headset as well. It does add up over time, and you might have some sort of excursion sometimes where you also have to travel by car a lot. So also the cost of living. I lived on the campus, which was great fun. Luckily not that expensive, but it also depends on the flight school how expensive that is. So altogether, try to fly the flight school that has a financial scheme. I really would recommend it. If you're gonna finance it yourself you have to get money somehow, maybe through family. But personally, I did not want to put any burden on my family for that or ask for money. So if you want to be on the safe side, definitely go to a flight school which already has some agreement with a bank, for example, or maybe with an airline to finance your flight training. Okay, I must say this method of highlighting comments works quite well. That's was nice, a nice addition to the stream, I hope. Alright, guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I'll probably go on for a little longer. So, and then hopefully go for a beer. That would be nice. Fireworks, they're kind of late, but the Netherlands, the people in the Netherlands really love their fireworks. Welcome Suwan, welcome Monke. Asubaso has another nice question. Have you done some personal hobby flying around your hometown? I have not yet. Actually, my license is not in yet. It's been requested, but it takes some time for the authorities to actually send your license. So I'm not able to go to a flight club right now and rent an airplane. But I am planning on doing that. Maybe take some family and friends flying over the Netherlands. That would be really nice. That's something you can do. I think for 2 years or something that license is active, but then you gotta it is a bit expensive to really keep that license alive, so it will probably expire after some time, unless you keep it active. But it would be really nice. I have flown with the flight training over my house I think twice. One time during the night was to Rotterdam. It was quite close, and during daytime as well. With the VFR flying phase, it's great fun. It's really an adventure. I mean, you start with very basic type of flying, of course, in around your home airport, where you just learn to fly the very basics. So making turns, steep turns, stalls, approach to stalls, and getting to know what it feels like to steer an airplane and making landings and takeoffs and circuits. And then after 10 flight sessions, you already have your first solo. And then you go and make more flights. You also start to do things like navigation, and then you can fly to other airports within the Netherlands. First very short distances, and then some longer distances, of course, also to things like Germany or Denmark, if you want. And one of the parts of the commercial pilot license part of flight training is that you get your 300 nautical mile flight. So on that flight, I flew from Rotterdam to, well, these places are not going to sound familiar to anyone, but anyone who's Dutch in the stream will recognize it. From Groningen to Teugen, near Apeldoorn in the Netherlands, and then a little stop there, and then to Breda Airport, or Seppe Airport, which is in the south, and then had a little lunch break there, and then flew from Breda with a touch and go at Rotterdam along the coast of the Netherlands, and then along the north of Schiphol back to Groningen Airport. And that's really cool. And on the leg from Breda to Rotterdam, I flew over this house. So yeah, that's quite an experience. That's really fun to do. It's just a little moment. But it happened to be on the route, so that was quite nice. But in the future, definitely plans for that when I can do that. Epic Hacks, welcome. Long time no see indeed. Suwon, how long does it take to get a PPL in Europe? PPL, I'm not sure. I think you can probably do that in a year or something. So you need to have some theory and then some flight training, but it should be able to be done quite quickly. It's not as complex as an ATPL, of course, so especially the theory should be quite easy to get, and then you make some flights. I'm not exactly sure how much flight hours is in a PPL license. And Jack Powell asks, best headset for training? Well, I think everyone's going to answer the Bose headset. They're not a sponsor, but I didn't buy it myself, but I was one of those cheap asses that didn't buy it. But I used the classic, what is it, Robert Clark, those green ones, headsets, which do the job. But if you really want to protect your ears properly, then do use the Bose headset. It has really good noise cancelling, and will make your life very comfortable. So yeah, but it is expensive. That's kind of the downside of it. Alright, so I think I've got through quite a lot of questions in the meantime. I'm not going to make the stream too long. So if you have any last minute questions, feel free to ask. Let's see how many people are still in the stream. 35, that's nice. Well, thank you all for joining and for sticking around. Really appreciate it. I want to take this opportunity as well to kind of thank everyone for being active with this channel, supporting the channel in the last few years, also before 2019 when I was more active. That's really appreciated. It was quite a ride so far, and of course I hope to turn the channel a bit more active again in the upcoming months, and then kind of go back into flying flight simulator as well every once in a while. That would be nice. But again, I kind of have to take some time to set it all up. I have to install GSX, for example, or many add-on airports. But yeah, it would be nice to get it a little bit again. Let's see. I think there's Monka asks, when did you start Microsoft Flight Simulator? Pretty much at the release in, when was it, 2020? Yeah. I tried it a couple of times, but yeah, that must have been in the summer of 2020. I remember that. Thank you very much for the good luck wishes for the training. Good question. That's a fair question, of course. How do I get money for a PC as a 16-year-old? Well, yeah, get a little job. I worked in the supermarket at that age. Yeah, you can, if you just work a few hours a week, you can get some money. I think most of the supermarket money actually went to getting my driver's license. But yeah, just take on a simple job and you should be able to buy yourself some quite nice PC. And then make sure that, I mean, you don't have to really get the latest hardware. I don't know what NVIDIA series we are at the moment. I think the RTX 4000 series or something. I mean, you don't really need that for Microsoft Flight Simulator, only if you want it to run perfectly smooth. But I mean, you know, just do a little bit of a gaming budget PC, I would say, with money from a simple job like working at the supermarket. You know, as a student, you can easily do that, hopefully next to your studying. And then maybe also get some second-hand parts. That's also quite helpful. I did that a lot with my previous PC. It was kind of a mesh, kind of a just a mess of a computer, basically, with an open case, with some also with some second-hand parts. But in that way, you can save a lot of money and build yourself something nice. And if you have the technical ability to build yourself, I would definitely recommend that, because it makes it also a little bit cheaper. But if you don't want the trouble, well, of course you can just go and buy yourself a new ready to go and ready to play plug and play PC. So yeah, good luck with that, Monkey. Let's take a look. Thank you, Hasso. You're welcome. Yeah, McDonald's, very good one as well. Yeah, flipping some burgers for some PC. That is very nice. Indeed, doesn't have to be that expensive. Don't let yourself, by the way, be fooled by, you know, the PC specs you see streamers use. Streamers probably have a lot of expensive hardware usually, but even that's kind of overkill. I mean, my PC is now 2 years old. A lot of people are now already ahead in terms of hardware, but Microsoft Flight Simulator just runs fine. My monitor is just 60 Hz, so I'm running the sim at 60 frames per second. Maybe it drops down a little bit to 40 during complex situations at complex airports, but yeah, who's gonna care? It's gonna be amazing anyway. So Aviation Stuff 07, no, I'm not at flight school at the moment. I'm done, basically. Yeah, graduated last month, so that was nice. I'm glad to be done. And yeah, I'll see if I can share maybe a little bit of footage here and there. You'll probably see some footage maybe from real world flight training popping up around videos, just as kind of a stock footage, maybe also in the VFR tutorial that I'm planning on making, so you can kind of have an idea what something looks like in real life compared to Microsoft Flight Simulator. But again, yeah, it's really nice to be able to actually fly VFR right now. So what I'm doing right now, yeah, basically nothing at the moment. I'm kind of waiting for a phone call to be hired by the airline, and then yeah, I hope that's within about half a year. And in the meantime, I'll try to find some temporary job of some sort. I'm not sure yet, or maybe through this YouTube channel I can do it a little bit. Alright guys, so I think I will soon wrap up the stream. I've been streaming for an hour right now, so that's quite nice. Jumpman Sam has a last minute question. Any crazy stories from flight school? Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of it's a big adventure. It's hard to pinpoint a single event of flight school, but you have a lot of nice moments, kind of highlights in your training there. Of course, the theory is quite fun. If you're, with your classmates, you're working together to get these exams done. It's a lot of studying, a lot of practicing exams and questions, and then hope that it will be alright on the actual exam. The flight training, I mean, maybe that's nice to tell. If you have your first solo, you actually go bolt. So I've been bolt. You shave your hair off. I've been bolt. I think when was that? Yeah, 2020 in the spring. So I don't have any. I haven't shared any video or photo of that here on YouTube, but maybe I will. So that's kind of a tradition, and then also they cut your tie off and you're being dumped into the water. I think every flight school has kind of their own tradition with their first solo, but yeah, that was quite nice. Other than that, let me take a sip of water in the meantime. Just a lot of adventures with flying. Night VFR flying I really enjoyed. That was really amazing. That's something that you have to do for the law. So you have about 3 or 4 flights at night, one of them being like a cross-country flight, and that was quite amazing, just flying your little single-engine airplane across the Netherlands and next to Schiphol, next to Rotterdam. Quite incredible. Later on, also in the multi-engine phase, which was on the Diamonds DA42, you do a lot of navigation flights to airports in Europe, so then that's also amazing. You can fly to quite some far destinations, one of which includes a night stop, which was an amazing flight. We did that to Friedrichshafen in Germany, and then on the way in via Bern in Switzerland, and yeah, just seeing the mountains and flying between the mountains. I mean, at that point, the Alps are not that big, but just seeing the Alps like that and being able to fly to destinations like that. I mean, that's something that you're not gonna do later in life. I mean, you're just gonna be flying, Boeing airplanes from A to B. But general aviation flying is something quite special. It's like a little adventure. It's your own adventure. You can make it as crazy as you want, whether you're flying VFR or IFR, and yeah, that's just quite amazing too. And I'm really thankful for having got the opportunity to do this and living those adventures, because it's quite special, to be honest. And so those are kind of the crazy stories. Yeah, there's probably more, but yeah, basically the whole flight training is a crazy story. If you think about it, there's so much things you experience, you learn, and flights that you make. Of course, some flights you do not perform as well. Other flights you perform a lot better. There's also a lot of difference in that. Another nice highlight of the flight training is that you can take your parents for a flight, which is in the multi-engine phase, kind of at the end towards your multi-engine instrument rating exam. You can actually, at this flight school, take your parents for a flight. So that was also nice, having that opportunity. And as you can imagine, that's quite an experience. Basically, they are your first passengers that you're ever going to carry. So let's see. All right. I can't believe you're alive. Wow. I did upload some videos, right? I think. I think I uploaded some shorts. Yeah, was that quite recent? I'm not even sure. By the way, I'm not really a shorts person. I'm more of a long-term video person. You're probably not gonna see much shorts on this channel. More likely longer-term videos. Chris Fly, welcome in. I'm good. Thank you very much, Captain Arianus. Thank you very much. Well, that will be helpful. I hope you clap. Yeah, that's very nice. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I see there are some last minute joiners, but I've already been talking for an hour, so my voice is also starting to hurt. Thank you for posting all the questions. I hope you enjoyed this little last minute, yeah, kind of unannounced live stream. I hope I can do a little bit more of these live streams in the future. Also live full flights, that would be nice, but again, that will take some time. Yeah, stay tuned with the channel. If you've just joined the live stream, make sure you can watch it on the replay. It will be available on the replay very soon. And then I will be hopefully back with another full flight video maybe this month. I'm planning on recording one. And then also the cross-country VFR tutorials on the list, so you kind of have an idea of what's to come. Again, no dates on that. I'm just gonna do it whenever I feel like. So yeah, basically, just stay tuned with the channel. I'll put up updates, of course, on the community page. And I'm not that active on Facebook anymore, or on Twitter also not that much. So I'm kind of shifting towards just using one platform because it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, just keep an eye on the channel. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Good evening. Kenny is also in the last minute. Well, I'll be back soon. Thanks for joining. I hope you have a good evening. And yeah, let's see how I can stop the stream here. It's been a while since I've did this. It also started going live as soon as I started streaming from OBS, which was, yeah, I'm not sure. That's kind of new, but some things have changed in streaming land. But I'm glad it's working. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the live stream. I hope to be back soon. And I wish you all a Happy New Year. If you just joined, again, Happy New Year, Happy 2023. And take care. And make some nice flights on VATSIM. Alright, guys, I'm gonna end stream. Bye-bye.